to our virtual open event. We're going to show you some of the parts of our fantastic college, and you'll meet some of our fellow students who will take you through course options and the facilities here at Telford College. We're currently under COVID measures. The college are managing the situation well, and we are following safety guidelines. This is the 7th form block where A-level students come to study. We have our own study centre and access to excellent resources such as the Creative Hub and Science Labs. Studying with us bridges the gap between school and university. You will experience academic rigour, stretch and challenge, as well as building your independence to manage your next steps. The college's 7th form offers excellent provision. Our results put us in the top 25% of schools and colleges. 40% of our students achieved A stars to Bs in their A-levels. Our achievement rates are above national average, and 96% of our students were accepted to their first choice university. There are many reasons to study A-levels at Telford College. You're provided teaching excellence from experienced staff with a strong academic background. Your teachers are focused purely on post-16 provision. You are their #1 priority.
You are treated like a young adult. Mutual respect, maturity and community are key beliefs for us. You will be supported. We want our students to have the highest aspirations, but if you are struggling, we support, we get you back on track and ensure you achieve.
Did you know Telford College offer qualifications all the way up to university level? In selected subjects, you'll get the option to explore our very own HE, which could save you thousands compared to going to university. Or, are you looking to further your qualifications, make a change in your working life, or increase your earnings potential here in Shropshire? You could be a mature student considering a career change, want to progress in a company you already work for, or leaving college and considering staying close to home to complete your university education. When you study a university course at Telford College, you'll join a great community of like-minded students of all ages. Benefiting from small class sizes, you'll have lots of support from peers and tutors, fantastic facilities and lower course fees. Studying at university level at college could save you up to £6,000 throughout your undergraduate studies, compared to a traditional university route. You could study part-time around your employment or other commitments. Enhance your employability. Nearly 60% of graduates last year were employed in managerial roles within 6 months of achieving their qualification.
Thank you for visiting our virtual open event. Don't forget to apply now to secure your place for September.
Hello and welcome to this very special open event here at Telford College, where the spotlight is on A-levels and higher education this time round. I'm joined by Principal and Chief Executive Graham Guest. Graham, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Carl.
Before we get started then, just give everybody an overview as to what this event is all about and the kind of things that students, prospective students, can find by having a look around some.
Sure. Well, this is given the pandemic, this is our virtual open event for A-levels and HE provision, as you've described. We wanted to ensure that people could have an opportunity to look around the campus, be it virtually. We want to ensure that staff and students keep safe. So throughout the video clip, then everybody will have an opportunity to see the campus, see the students, and see some of the staff and the facilities.
How have you shaped the curriculum going forward? Changes you've made, new things you've introduced, things you've tweaked?
We've kept the curriculum quite similar in terms of the A-levels and the HE provision. What we've done differently is change the timetables, as I mentioned previously, so that students have a collapsed timetable, so that they're here, they don't have gaps in their timetable, they can do their studies. And we've got an awful lot of online material, so when they're not here and they want to study at home or they need to study at home, all the material's there. And if for some reason we have to go into full lockdown again, because we never know, our platforms, IT platforms, are such that we can cope with all of that. Our staff have been brilliant in terms of encompassing something very, very quickly. We use Microsoft Teams that all the students can log on to. They can share homework, they can share marking, they can chat to one another throughout the day, and I hear that they work well into the evening in terms of studying. We've learned so much in this new world about people's way of learning, and some people have really adapted to blended learning. You know, they can learn when they want to, they can contact tutors for support.
From an AIL point of view, we are in the Telford College 7th form here, of course, which is more than just a 6th form. For anybody that doesn't know the story behind it, the principles behind the 7th, just explain it.
Well, I mean, basically the 7th form is an A-level centre. But what we were keen to do is to ensure that the students studying A-levels and those academic studies had more of an opportunity to not only do their academic studies, but to have a mentor, to develop their careers, to know precisely what university they wanted to go to. So no, they will have their normal A-level studies, but they will also be linked to industry and linked to careers, so that their choices that they make are really well informed and have the best possible choice when they move on. And to do that, we called it a 7th form, which nobody else has got one, and why wouldn't we? But we've got a very specific A-level centre.
And links with employers, I guess, at the moment, given what's happening, more important than it's ever been.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the college is a community college. It's here to serve the community, and it's here to serve local industry and business, and links and working with employers, so students get an absolute taste of what it's like and what people call the real world. So their choice of university or higher apprentice in terms of A-levels is absolutely crucial. And the same for our higher education studies. To link it to business gives people a far greater opportunity to be successful later on in life.
But of course, achievement rates are really, in many ways, what it all boils down to. And over the past few years, I mean, the curve has just been going up and up.
Yeah, I mean, since the merger, the A-level team have established themselves as a really high-delivering academic group of staff. We are in the top 25% for all A-level subjects across the country. Our pass rates are well above the national average. Our learning and teaching is excellent. And the wraparound support that students can expect from that team is second to none. The homework, although students might not like that, it keeps them structured and it pushes them further than they ever thought that they were going to achieve. So we're really, really pleased with our A-level centre. The staff have been brilliant. I mean, I can't give them enough credit. We have come through the, if you like, the first phase of this virus in a really positive way, and it's down to the staff and what the staff have delivered, the way they've changed the campus, the way they've worked with the students, the way they've adapted blended learning. It is tremendous, and I'm incredibly proud to be the principal of a college where the staff are so student focused and ensure that students here will succeed.
And I know people will be anxious to go off and explore in their own virtual way now. So any final closing words for everyone in terms of what they should be looking out for and how to get involved with the college if they see something they like here today and they want to make contact?
Well, I mean, enjoy the virtual tour, and at some point hopefully we'll have a physical tour. If you want to have a very special VIP tour, you can. There's some links, and so you can come into contact into college, and we'll go through all the safety restrictions. There's a link so that you can ask questions, and there's also a link so that you can apply to come and study here next September.
Graham Guest, Principal and Chief Executive, thank you for your time. Enjoy your virtual tour.
Thank you.
Coming up this evening, next, a chance to hear all about Telford College's 7th form. You'll hear from some of our students in about 6 minutes and about our science courses in around 7 minutes. Hear from a parent of a student in the 7th form, that's in about 12 minutes. And our maths courses, the spotlight on that is on the 19-minute mark. You can hear from more of our students in around 24 minutes, and then our psychology courses in the spotlight in around 25 minutes. Jill Eatoff from the Learning Community Trust will be talking to us in about 34 minutes, and our business and economics courses will be spotlighted in around 36 minutes. Then our sociology and criminology courses take the spotlight, that's at around 40 minutes. You'll hear from some more of our students in around 45 minutes. And at the 46-minute mark, the spotlight will be on art, media, film and English courses.
Okay, so the first guests are going to be Holly Davis, who's the Head of Academic Studies. And I've got here, let me get this right, Alexandra Mikolajczyk, who is one of the students here at the 7th form doing her A-levels right now. Because Holly, you look after the whole of the 7th form.
I do.
What is the 7th form?
So the 7th form is a place where you can come and study A-levels and BTEC science. And the reason we have sort of called ourselves 7th form is because we're going for more than just a 6th form. So we're being really focused on the next steps and progression. We want to make sure that you get where you need to go. So that involves things like career mentors, focusing on what it means to be a good employee. So in your lessons, it's also embedded in about soft skills, how to talk to people, things like that. But it's really about, the big thing that we're looking for is raising aspirations in Telford for our young people and ensuring that our students, who are the nicest, kindest, loveliest people, as we've just said, get those grades that they deserve and they're capable of, and they go off, wherever that might be, and do amazing things with their lives, and that's what we want. So we want you to be a happy, rounded individual who is successful in life, and that's our 2-year bit of your journey, isn't it? And hopefully you'll come back occasionally and check in and tell us how you're getting on, but we have a very small window to get you where you need to go, and that's what we're about.
Okay, so Alex, you're about a year into that journey.
Yes.
Are you a happy, rounded individual?
I believe I am, yes.
Yes, and
I would agree.
where are you going to progress? What's your ambition there?
I want to go into psychology and specifically focus on psychopathology.
Psychopathology, what's that?
That is about the mental illnesses.
Okay, mental illnesses. So you're looking at what sort of grades are you looking at then?
From what I've seen, I believe it has to be A Bs on average to get into psychology as a whole.
So you've done a year at the 7th form.
Yes.
How has it been? How would you, I mean, if you were to talk about it, because Holly's talking there about how it's different from a normal 6th form, but how would you describe it to somebody your sort of age who's thinking of coming here?
It's got the education part of school, but it also has the more relaxed, do it at your own pace of university, because the university is very much independent and you get areas where you have to do your own independent work. So I think it's got a good balance and it prepares you more for university life.
So it's kind of like a midway between school and university.
So you're
right?
not thrown into the deep end when you go to university.
So was that a choice when you applied here? Did you know you wanted to come here from school? Was it?
Yeah, this was my.
And that was the kind of reason why you wanted to come.
Yeah, I saw the promotional videos and it seemed a bit better than going into a 6th form.
Okay. So now there's a load of people out there seeing you on a promotional video. Are you quite proud to represent the college?
Yeah, I do. I think that it's a good opportunity.
So earlier in the year, you just went into the 2nd year. Early in the year, end of March, we all got told that we had to pack up, go into lockdown because of Corona. How were you feeling at that point?
Well, at the start I was a bit nervous because I didn't know about the future of exams and how that would proceed and would they use unexpected grades. So I did a lot of my own studying, but when we started to do the offline work, the lessons and all the work we would say, I found it quite easy to just get my head down and work because I did it at my own pace and I wasn't rushed to finish it in this hour.
So you're still getting lessons virtually?
Yes.
We use Microsoft Teams here at the college, don't we? How do you find those kind of lessons then? because now you've come back, you're having lessons in the classroom, aren't you? But you also got the remote ones. How do you find that combination of in class and outside of class as well?
Well, I enjoy it. By now, they become basically like lessons, just minus the part where I work in person. But I think they're good substitutes to keep that social distancing.
Yeah,
now.
it keeps you going, doesn't it? So you're not missing anywhere. So you're expecting some grades at the end of this year. We got some grades at the end of last year.
We did.
Tell me something about the data for the college then. How are we doing?
So the college had a fantastic year. We've been on an upward trend anyway, and we were expecting that because we monitor our data very closely. When we mean say data, we just mean results really. So we've had above national averages in all of our subjects for achievement, and we had 40% of our young people got A star to B. Now that's not all we care about. What we really prioritise is how much progress have our students made. So have they improved where they came in with, and have we added value to them? And we're in the top 25% in the country for that. So we are demonstrating that our young people walk away with more than when they came in. And that's what we're about. So 96% of our students got their first choice university. It was stressful this summer, we all know that. We had a horrible couple of days, we had a lot of tears. Not just the students, but obviously in the end the government changed it, didn't they? And that that our students were able to get the grades they were actually capable of and deserved.
And so you do a mixture of subjects. You do psychology, biology, and chemistry. So what we're going to do now is we're going to talk to some of the STEM staff. We're going to have a short message. We went round. We asked a lot of our students what they liked being at college. So we'll show you that quick video and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the STEM subjects.
I came to Telford College because I was really interested in the wide range of subjects they provide.
I really enjoy being here at 7th form because the classes are amazing, the teachers are amazing, and the work's actually really good, and it will prepare me for when I want to go to university.
I like Telford College because of all the teachers here and the community.
I do maths, biology, physics and further maths at A-level, and I find them really interesting because all the lessons are really interactive and fun. I hope to do forensic science at university when I finish here, and I just love the college.
I've now got Ken Kinraid, who teaches chemistry at the college, and one of our brand new students, Sophie McLaughlin, who you don't teach anything, but you study physics, maths, further maths.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the STEM subjects. So the STEM subjects are maths, further maths, computer science, biology, chemistry and physics. Did I get them all? Yeah. We also do applied science, and we've now got a forensic pathway. I think Ed's going to talk a little bit some more about the maths ones, so we'll come to those in a bit. Ken, I'll start with you. You're a chemistry teacher here.
That's right.
Imperial College chemist.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've got a very academic background.
Yeah, very. That's my background.
Okay. So is academic rigour important at the college, would you say?
Yeah, very much so. I think it's at the kind of heart of what we do, really. So it's rigorous kind of checking of work, like challenging the students, kind of work, regular homework, regular checking of the remote sessions that we've been doing as part of our COVID protective procedures. So yeah, I think academic rigour is a big part of it.
And it's sort of teaching beyond the spec as well. You go into a lot more detail than they might necessarily need to know.
Well, yeah, we'll always cover all the spec, but it's part of stretching and challenging students that you go and talk beyond what they see there and introduce them to the next step as well. It helps to put in context what they're doing as well, so they understand why that's there. So, we do a lot of kind of going beyond just introducing you to the next step, really.
And one of the things we were talking about the other day was we were talking about how at college, one of the reasons people like coming here is the independence, and they get to wear what they like. Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you one more question about practicals.
Yeah.
Very important to all the STEM subjects. Mm-hmm. We've had a bit of a challenge this year with COVID and making sure that the practicals are safe. Do you want to go into some? We've reviewed over all our procedures around the practicals. So we're providing each of the students with their own lab coat this year, which is logoed up with the 7th form. They used to share them, but now have their own each. Okay, we've COVID protected the laboratories, put like screens in, so where they have to face each other, they can avoid breathing on each other, and we very much replanned the kind of curriculum to make sure that whilst we're covering all the required practical, it's all very safe. And you're a big fan of practicals. I know all the science staff are. What's your favourite practical that you do in the year? Favourite one I do in the year? Okay, that's a hard choice. Is it? Yeah, there's a few I really like. So I very much like, and I think this is one that we share a little bit with the biologists as well. I really enjoyed it. We do an amino acid chromatography experiment where they have to seal it off at the end and judge it. I really enjoy doing that. And my favourite bit in it is actually where the students, if any of the students make a mistake with their biotrick security in that experiment, it shows up because you see their own amino acids on the chromatic. How many weeks now have you been here?
This is my 5th week.
5th week. How are you finding it?
Really good.
You like it?
Yeah.
That's
really
good news. Yeah. And you've come to do maths, physics, further maths.
Yeah.
What's your ambition after college then?
After college, I want to go off to university to study to become a theoretical physicist.
Yeah. Why physics?
I guess a few years ago I had no idea what I wanted to do. I'd say I must have been about 12, and my science teacher was like he inspired everyone in the class to do something, like some form of science. But one science that almost just clicked with me was physics, and it was just because you see it everywhere, but not just in your everyday life. I'm really into what we can't see as such, so I really like black hole theory, which is what I want to go into when I'm older.
So you want to be theoretical physics, isn't it, that you want to go into? You actually travel quite far in, don't you? You live in Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
So it's worth the trip. It takes you quite a long time to get here, but
it's dedication. It's about an hour and a half journey, but I'm so excited to come in every day that I couldn't care less how long it takes.
It's like now, for those people who don't know, we actually have started a new thing this year. We do a little news program every week. Rather than send an email out, we do a little video. And last week you were on it. We interviewed you about how you were getting on. But you must be the bravest student we've ever had, because yesterday you agreed for us to interview your mum on the film. Doing that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to show a bit of that footage of us talking to your mum yesterday. If that's all right. And then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about maths. Holly and I were talking earlier, and we both agreed that we would be devastated if our mums came on.
Especially when I was 16.
I
think she's quite embarrassing.
How did you ever agree to this then, Soph? Are you okay with your mum?
Yeah, I don't embarrass easily at all. Very boring. I'll work on it.
So did you say you'd seen Sophie on the thing last week?
Yes, yeah.
She speaks very well, doesn't she?
I'm really impressed, actually. Yeah, I think even transitioning from school to college, I've seen her blossom confidence as a young adult, which I think, one of the reasons that we thought as a college would be so much better for her than a sixth form, because she needed that sort of independence. Right. So she's, and you actually quite like, I prefer face-to-face because that's what I've always grown up with, but Sophie actually likes this sort of setup. Okay. So it sort of works well for you, doesn't it?
Because at the moment, so if you're in the mornings for like a live lesson, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then you have these remote things because of COVID. How you find you kind of like that setup?
Yeah. I quite like that you've got the teacher there in front of you, and obviously you've got everyone else in the class, but it's easy to concentrate, I think, because you actually quite like that. Yeah.
But you're not actually that local to the college, are you?
No.
It's a school in Wolverhampton. Do you want to tell me a little bit about what's happened, why Sophie's come here, where you were before, that kind of thing?
I mean, basically, she went to St Chad's School in Wolverhampton, and she could have stayed on there, but they didn't do the A level she wanted, the combination she wanted. So then you looked at another college in Wolverhampton. They didn't do the combination she wanted. So the only option really locally was a couple of different sixth forms. And when Sophie came over to the open day with her dad, over to you guys, and just fell in love with the place, and that was it. Her decision was made.
And how does Sophie see? Does she seem happy? Does she talk too much about college?
I get daily rundown.
Okay.
No, she's very happy. Like, to be studying maths and physics and to the level that she's studying it at is just, it's her dream. It's the two subjects that she's always loved, and now she can just purely do those. So she's really happy, and she's found the college really welcoming as well. Like, she would struggle with change in a big new environment and things like that, and she's just found that everyone's she knows there's someone to turn to if she needs it, and made a few friends, and it's been a really positive start, really good. I think it's great as well that you've managed to timetable so that they do get good chunks in college as well, without in their bubbles and things. That's been really well organised. So well done to whoever managed that.
Yeah, it was a bit of a stressful few weeks in the summer working out what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So can I just ask a couple of parenty questions, if you don't mind? Like, what would you say is your priority about? You said it was subject choice then, but also as a parent, what else do you sort of value in what's important to you about us and the way that we're sort of supporting Sophie?
Yeah, I mean, one big thing for us was Sophie was diagnosed with Asperger's towards the end of her secondary school, which we kind of knew for a few years, but to get the actual diagnosis. And one of the biggest thing was for me as a parent was finding somewhere that had the jump to be more independent and not be looked after like school, but also still have that care there, that I know there's somewhere she can go. And I didn't actually come to the opening. My husband went with her, and he said, that there's a quiet space she can go to if she ever needs it. So I'm going to talk to you about that on the opening as well. And as a parent, even though Sophie's more interested, like, what's the A levels, what am I going to be learning? As a parent, I just wanted to know that when she's away from me, if she did need that, she can come to you guys, she can go there. It's just a really nice welcoming place.
Yeah, because I think there can be a little bit of a myth around doing A levels in a college, that you're left completely to your own devices as opposed to in a school environment. And I think you've sort of encapsulated it quite well, that I think it's about a balance, isn't it, of yes, we want you to treat you like a young adult, not a child, but we know you are 16 and you've only just finished school.
That's it, isn't it?
And there still needs to be structure, and there still needs to be support, and things will go wrong some days, and that's okay. And I think that's really important, that we want to kind of look at the whole person as well, the holistic approach if we can, and what makes you it all sounds a bit hippie-ish, but I believe it. If you're happy and supported, you're going to do better, aren't you, than if you're sort of feeling all stressed and anxious. So yeah, I think that's good then, that you're already feeling after a month that is how you feel.
Yeah, just got a really nice vibe. And I came with Sophie on the day when she had the interview, and it's just lovely vibe. And obviously things are different because of COVID and trying to follow all the new rules, but it's really good. I think the other thing for me as a parent as well, with her doing this travelling and having that little bit of independence, I'm thinking when she does do that thing to uni, I'm going to freak out a lot less than if she's still been at school. So because I know that she's been in the world a bit more than for the 2 years prior to uni.
And I think it's really funny to see that, because my office is right by the study centre, and lots of students who've never met each other before, and they're already hanging out all the time, having lunch and coffee. And that's what you have to do when you go to uni. You walk in a room and you think, oh my God, I've not met a single person. So as you say, that bridging that gap is really good, isn't it? And employment in work, don't you walk into a room full of people and go, ugh. So I think it must be quite a big jump if you've only ever been in your school and only ever known your teachers.
Definitely, yeah.
So yeah, that's good.
So now we're going to talk about my favourite subject, which is maths, and I've got here Ed Young-Liddard. So what is it about the academic rigour that we do at this college then? How do we push these very top-end students to go off to those universities, to go off to the Russell Group, the Oxbridge?
Yes, I think it's very important within the classroom environment that we're always stretching and challenging. We're providing activities where they have the scope to push themselves within that, and I think it's all well and good just giving them problems and questions to do within class, but I think one of the advantages, especially within my classroom and maybe within other maths teachers' classrooms in colleges, that we give them activities to do where they need to think outside the box, and it's all about that challenge, that we get into that solution, that problem, etc., and that feeling actually when you do it. I think within our classes, and especially with our good pupils, our ones that are excelling and looking at going to the Russell Group University, about giving them the opportunity to almost work it out for themselves before I tell them exactly what to do.
So Katie, what subjects do you study?
I do maths, physics, biology and further maths.
So you're doing 4 A-levels?
Yeah.
What school did you come from?
Newport Girls.
Newport Girls. So why didn't you could have stayed on Newport Girls, why was it your first choice to come here? Why did you want to come to this college?
My sister went to the college and she really liked it here, and she didn't find the commute to be like too much. It was like worth it. So I just thought, I'll try it out, and I liked it a lot more.
Okay, you glad you came here?
Yeah.
And what's your ambition after?
After this, I want to study forensic science.
Okay, so we were talking about the academic rigour to go off and do a course like that. Can you talk, how does homework work at the college and testing and things? Can you explain that to anybody who might be interested in doing homework, if there's people out there that like homework?
Well, there's homework like every 2 weeks. You get 1 week to do it and you hand it in, so you've got like a free week afterwards. Then tests are every half term.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like all in a week, so you get them all out of the way.
And what about feedback on your work? Is it, do you find
You
it
get it
useful?
basically like straight away, and that's really good.
Okay, cool. Margarita, it's like sitting with a celebrity because Margarita, you've been in Spain, you got stuck in Spain first for a passport issue, and then you weren't allowed back into college because you were self-isolating. So we've only actually seen Margarita on TV because you've been remoting into all your lessons, so it's like actually meeting a celebrity. So you haven't missed any lessons though, have you?
No.
So what's
I
been going
haven't.
on then? You haven't actually been in college, but you've been keeping up with your work?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you and Holly, you were so supportive, so I really appreciate that. At the first time, it was kind of, I was really worried what was going to happen with my studies, because it was really important for me not to miss anything. But with the remote lessons and doing homework at home, I just had, it was all great. There wasn't any problem, and yeah, I really had some supportive teachers.
Yeah, you've actually been embarrassing the other students because your homework was coming in earlier than everyone else.
I had to do it earlier because I had to travel back here, so I was worried that maybe I missed the deadline, so I did it earlier.
And now you're back. Are you happy to be back? You glad you're back?
Yeah, I'm really happy to be back.
Ed, we're talking about the high end, the academic. Those people are really good at maths. Not everyone's good at maths. So what about those people who want to come to do A-levels here and are not so great at maths? Some people really hate it, don't they?
Some people really hate maths.
So what do they do?
So we have this new course that we're offering, so Core Maths. So if you come into the college, and we offer this to our science students and our psychology students who do not study maths. So there's this option of doing Core Maths, which is about building skills. So about building skills from GCSE and how they relate to the real world and how they relate to their own subjects, so into their science subjects, and also in terms of psychology, and also other subjects, geography, business, etc.
So it's kind of maths that links in with other subjects.
Yeah.
That we like that.
So the maths in their A-levels is on this course.
And what about students who are coming to do A-levels who haven't got their GCSE maths?
Okay, so those students, last year I worked across the college. I also worked in the GCSE and functional skills resits area as well. So people who come in who are grade 3 or below, they will have to resit maths as part of their qualification. That's the same wherever you go.
But they can do that alongside their A-levels?
They can do that alongside their A-levels, so we offer that alongside their A-levels. And then there's great teaching here within the college for that. They will get 3 hours per week of that teaching, and then that'll help support them gain that qualification later in the year.
Okay, so I think at this point we've got some more people of some of our students and staff explaining why exactly they like being at college.
I like coming to college because even in spite of the pandemic, they've still managed to keep a wonderful and happy college experience.
I really like how there's a lot of people, because I just think you can make loads of different friends, and as I said, the teachers are nice, so that's a good part of being here. Like, you're excited to come to college instead of dreading it, basically.
The teachers are really supportive.
My favourite thing about the college is when we see ordinary kids from ordinary backgrounds going off to do some extraordinary things.
The best thing about Telford College is the quality of teaching and the support you can get.
Okay, so welcome back. I'm joined again by Holly Davis, Head of Academic Studies, and now I've got an ex-student of ours, Meg Rice, who just finished last year, and I've got a teacher of psychology, Jodie Bowering. Meg, I'm going to come to you first, I think. You've just finished 2 years with the college.
Yeah.
This is quite a broad question, but how was it? How was the 2 years?
It was good. It was definitely different to school, but I was really happy and the subjects were all really interesting.
Yeah, so what subjects have you actually studied?
I studied psychology, English language and fine art at A
Okay,
level.
and your psychology teacher?
Was Jodie.
Was she good?
She was brilliant.
She was alright?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk a little bit about psychology in a minute, but what's your plan then? You've got a career, and I know the answer to this already, but do you want to explain what?
So I'm planning to go into psychology, and I'm hoping to go into the field of clinical psychology specifically. So I'm currently doing more A-levels, then I'm going to go to university to study psychology, and then I'm hoping to go further and get masters and PhDs in the subject.
So you've already got your 3 A-levels?
Yeah.
And now you're just collecting them then?
Yeah.
So what are you doing at the moment?
So I'm currently studying maths and biology at A-level.
Okay. And you're going to be one of these people with all the initials after your name when you've got all these degrees and things like that. What was I going to ask next? I was going to say, you got your results this summer,
yes.
which was quite stressful, I'm imagining.
Incredibly.
Talk me through that couple of days or that whole period.
So just before results day was incredibly stressful. It normally is because obviously we don't know how we've done, but this year without the exams it was even worse because it's like, has the work that I've done previously, is that going to get me what I want? Is that going to qualify me for the grades that I'm wanting? And then I got the results and I wasn't totally happy with them at first. And then the government made the decision to overturn that and give us the teacher predicted.
So the results you got when you opened...
When I opened it, I got 2 Bs and a D.
And you weren't expecting that?
No, I was hoping for higher than that.
And you were probably thinking, why is Jodie predicting that?
No, I was sort of wondering what had happened, where in the system that something had happened, because I thought that I'd been working at an aim in psychology, and I just sort of, the initial thought was, well, where did I go wrong with that?
And was she working at an aim?
She was, consistently throughout the entire 2 years.
Okay.
If I would have liked to have through the A star, but I just wasn't quite there. But I think definitely A grade going through 2 years.
So we'll talk about psychology in a moment. Psychology is one of those subjects that's very popular at the college, isn't it?
It is, yes.
And it's not one that people generally study in school.
No.
So a lot of the A-levels will be familiar kind of courses like history, geography, all the sciences we do that you kind of study at GCSE, but they get harder at A-level. But there's quite a lot of courses that we offer that will be totally brand new to people. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about those, Holly. What sort of courses are we talking about?
There's a range of courses. So there's a subject such as film studies, for example. It exists at GCSE, but not many schools locally would do that. And there's similar for media, criminology, sociology. And obviously we get the subject specialists in to talk about those. But I think the important thing to remember when you are facing your A-level choices is it's about doing a subject that you know you're going to be good at and that you're motivated in, but also it has some element of progression. So how does this fit with where I want to go? What pathway will I be going on to? But we are incredibly passionate about students doing well and being motivated. And so, yes, your pathway is important, but if you think you've been desperate to study a subject like psychology for the last 5 years and you are qualified to do it, and that's the important bit as well. There are entry requirements, you need to be qualified, you need to make sure that you're successful, and then this is the chance. At school, you have to do certain things, don't you? You get an element of choice with options, but there are still subjects in there that you think, yeah, they're okay, I'll go and do them and I'll do it right in them, but they're not my passion. So this is the chance for you now to say, what do I want to spend my week doing? What is going to make me happy and get me where I need to go? So you do need to make informed choices, and sometimes we have students who turn up, don't we, and say, I want to do psychology because I want to read minds. I want to do criminology because
That's
I
what
like
I say.
serial killers.
That's what you say.
Yeah, and I want to do film studies because I like Marvel. And they're all a starting point into a subject, but they're not the academic level that we're really talking about. So you need to be looking at informed decisions. What does it mean to study criminology for 2 years, day in, day out, a wet February, a Wednesday, when you're tired, and it's not just going to be studying Harold Shipman. So that's what we want to do, and part of what we do in our process is about, let's have an interview, let's chat to you, let's make sure you know what you're doing, get some more information, we'll do some taster sessions, COVID allowing obviously, and really get those decisions right.
So Holly's kind of mentioned it already. Psychology is one of those subjects that people will not have done at school,
No.
and I'm totally guilty of this. I'll come in the morning and ask you to interpret my dreams, won't I? Because what is psychology then?
In a nutshell, it's a really hard subject to define, but in a nutshell, it is the science of mind and behaviour. So we're looking at how people behave, why people behave in the ways that they do, and how their brains and outside, so internal and external influences just make them behave in certain ways, really.
And Holly was saying it's not a subject that's often done in schools.
It's not, no.
But the seventh form, since it started, we've been working a lot with the local schools.
We have, yes.
And you've actually been...
Yes, I've been teaching GCSE psychology to some of our local schools.
So how does that work then? What's been...
Well, we first started it, they would come into the college and they would have lessons of an evening, so after school for a couple of hours, and we'd do a two-hour lesson, and we'd look at some of the different, and some of the content is very similar, so memory, social influence, psychopathology, those sorts of things. And then since obviously COVID happened and everything went a little bit, sort of, what do we do now? So we did some online stuff and we set some work for them, and then this term they've come back and we are doing full online lessons with the students.
So those students are going to get a GCSE.
They will get a GCSE in psychology, which will be really good for when they come to apply to college and they say, look, I've done psychology, and that really gives them a bit of an in. You don't have to have studied GCSE psychology to do A-level psychology, but it certainly gives you a good starting point. And it's been really interesting actually, and some of the year 11 students I've got at the moment are really grasping some of these topics, and I'm thinking about them in ways that makes me think, oh, I should have still thought like that,
And Holly, we're doing the GCSE psychology with the locals. We've got more links with the schools happening at the moment. Do you want to talk about some of the things that we've got going on?
Yeah, absolutely. We think it's really important that we're bridging that gap between school and college, and particularly, I keep talking about it, but it is important, that Telford factor, that we want our young people to have high aspirations. I really get fed up when people bash the town and say that it's full of lots of negatives. There's lots of positives about it. So we work with Charlton, Arklewood and Hadley Learning, but that's not to say that we're not working with other schools too, but we're doing some shared provision with them going forward.
So I think in a moment we're going to talk about some more of those subjects that people don't necessarily know about at school, some of the things like criminology and film studies that you mentioned. But we have Jill Eatoff, who's the Chief Executive of Learning of the Learning Trust, who's going to talk a little bit more about our links with the local schools.
Hello, I'm Jill Eatoff and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Learning Community Trust. And I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you a little bit about the work that we're doing with Telford College. I established a really fantastic partnership with Telford College over 2 years ago when Mr. Guest became the principal, and we've worked really closely with the college particularly with our secondary schools in the Trust and the college, over a number of really fantastic projects which is supporting young people make that transition from school into college life. Currently at the moment, the college is offering masterclasses to some of our really academic students in mathematics and English. We have students in year 10 and 11 who attend the college to do an additional GCSE. They chose psychology as an area they'd like to have an opportunity to study. We've supported them over their new and fantastic aeronautical project, and we are really focused on making sure that the curriculum in our secondary schools really ties up with the offer at the college, so our young people can make a successful transition onto the appropriate courses. Often young people need real support when they move from school to college. It's a very different organisation, a much larger organisation, and we've got a brilliant member of staff that works between the college and our schools, and her role is to support young people make a successful transition into college.
So now we're going to talk about some of those subjects we mentioned earlier that you might not have come across at school. So I am here with Lynn Gideon, who teaches Economics and Business A-Level, and then we've got Andrea Burdu, right? And then Rose Ohan. Have I said that one right, Rose?
It's nice.
I've spent.
It's okay.
Okay, thank you. You just do very nice. I don't know why I've picked every single student that I can't say the name. I should have thought about this beforehand. But Rose, what do you study at college?
I study law, English language and sociology.
Law, English language and sociology. So the law and the sociology, there would be things that you wouldn't have done before you came to.
Yes, it's not anything like that.
Okay, so if you were to explain sociology to somebody, what is sociology then?
Sociology is basically the study of human beings and lifestyle, so the society and the institutions of the society, education, family, and their functions.
So it sounds like everything to me. It's a bit about everything. Okay. And Andrea, what subjects are you studying at the moment?
I study business, economics, and law.
So you have Lynn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the time.
Is she alright?
Yeah, she's a 50.
So you have all three economics. So you see Lynn more than your mum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay. And how is she, Lynn? Is she a good student?
She's a really good student. She's really conscientious and she really wants to do well.
So you're lucky because you have two A-level courses. You've got your business and your economics.
Yeah.
What's the difference? A lot of people ask me what's the difference. When people come to enrol, they say, shall I do business or shall I do economics? So what's the difference between the two then?
Business is more management, I would say. So in business you learn about how to use current business models, quantitative data to make good business decisions.
Okay.
Whereas economics is more about understanding the world that we're in and how it works.
So it's more of a global kind of picture,
it
is
can be.
it?
It's microeconomics and macroeconomics.
Okay.
Changing
So,
landscape.
so do the students have to keep up with
Yeah.
news?
Yeah, we have.
So how do you manage that then?
It is confusing a lot of the times because Brexit started very early, like 2016, I think that's right. Yeah, and coronavirus is so recent, so it's like it confusing because we don't know how the government is now going to change and what they're going to do. So it's like, yeah.
We have a weekly economics and business quiz, don't we?
Yeah.
So there's 10 multiple choice questions that are picked out from something that's happened recently in the news.
Okay.
And in business it's a bit of a heated competition every week. They're in small groups and we make a note of the winners every week.
So you have to be reading the newspapers, reading the...
Yeah,
Okay.
keeping up with the news.
Very good. Another thing people often apply for at the college is law. You're doing law, aren't you? So that's another subject people might not know anything about. You've got to help people out here. What's going on with law?
Law is law.
Law is law,
Yes.
okay.
There are rules in the country written down. Things people do in the society that will be legal and illegal, so that you know your way in the society. So we learn for, most of us obviously learn for the future. For uni, most of us want to do law degrees, and it's a very interesting class. We learn new facts. We also have to update with what is happening, because law changes with time as well. And yeah, it's really good. Our teacher Sunny is also very supportive. We have an interactive class, and it's not as difficult as it might sound, especially if you have an interest in it and the passion. It's just about hard work. And
and you've got a lot of case studies to look at, haven't you?
Yes, we have a lot of it.
Okay, so I think next we're going to talk about some more of those subjects that might be a little bit unfamiliar to people. So we'll get some more guests on. So I'm going to introduce Morgan Wallace, Morgan Williams, Holly Mitchell, and Mel Rooney. I nearly forgot your name.
Cheers.
Well, I've got some easy names this time because I've been struggling for all the rest of it. Now, Mel, you teach sociology at the college?
Yes.
And criminology?
Yes.
Okay, so those are subjects that people might not have any idea about. Do you want to tell us why they're very popular courses?
Yes, they
why
are
they're so
extremely
popular?
popular. I think it's because it's something that's a little bit different. So sociology is the study of society, so they start to have a look at things that are more everyday, real life items, so education, religion, crime, and things that really interest them, and I think you enjoyed it, didn't you, Morgan? And then with criminology, we look at crime scene, courtroom, we look at criminological theories, and it's just things that we're all interested in. We all love a Netflix documentary about crime. It just gets you to look at things in a bit more detail.
I know you're always recommending things for people
Always.
to watch, things to read.
Yeah.
So what is it like studying these courses at college?
A lot, but it's all interesting information that you never even learn about in school. So, and it's just interesting.
Just interesting, yeah. You've got a lot of debates.
Yeah.
Talk about stuff, working in groups.
Not necessarily now.
Not necessarily now.
Before,
No.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I should mention that we're all quite close at the moment, aren't we? But everyone in seventh form, we are in a bubble, so we are interacting a little bit closer than a lot of the other college where we don't mix. So all the people in seventh form are in a bubble at the moment.
Yeah.
Let's have a chat with you, Morgan. What's your ambition after college? What's the
I'm looking to go on to do geography at university. I'm hoping to study at Aberystwyth, study either conservation or straight physical geography.
And do you know what sort of grades you need for that?
The university I'm looking at is BBC, and I'm looking at one ABB university as an ambitious one.
And that's what you're working towards this year?
Yeah.
How have you been supported in that then?
I've had a lot of chats with my tutor. My first year tutor, Richard, who's really, really good at going through, looking at different universities, different styles of courses that I wanted to do, looking at all of that. That was really, really helpful. And now it's just having support with my UCAS application, talking to, especially my geography teacher, talking about what I need to focus on to get me to that point where I can take that course.
So your tutor is something slightly different from your teachers, isn't it? You meet them once a week usually?
We do kind of remote work where they send us work and we go over it. We develop our own UCAS, and then we have one-on-one video sessions at the moment with them until things back to normal. But first year it was one big classroom setting.
And a big part of your time now, you're just going to second years getting ready for your UCAS application, things like that. So you're not just getting everything, it's not just like, here's a piece of paper, read this. No.
So it's all on different separate places. So if we don't get it in class, well, we do, but like if we don't have it with us, it's on Teams, get emails, it's on Instagram, so we've got loads of options.
So how is the teaching different at the seventh form then? Is it more engaging? How would it be different from what you would have had at school?
There's just a lot more communication, I think. So there's a lot of help. So if we're confused, we can always go to Mel.
Just going to find Mel.
And she's all, yeah.
Is it Mel? Is it just? Is it
No.
any sort of problem? You just go to Mel.
No, just yeah. But there is a lot of support and help, which is really good. So
There's a few courses that they tend to do.
Yeah.
Quite popular.
Yeah,
We call them the
definitely.
ologies.
Ologies,
right?
yes.
So what are they? What are the ologies?
So sociology, criminology, psychology is always a really nice mix, and it's quite a popular one. but then we have like law and English are usually the paths. But
Yeah.
we've got some nice broad choices this year. We've got some that are doing business, sociology, and English and things. So it's really nice to
And
have
some of the teaching, because Neil teaches English and sociology.
Yes, he does
doesn't
this
he?
year, and criminology.
And
He's
criminology,
teaching year
yeah.
one criminology, and we've got Az teaching year one criminology as well. So I think it's going really well. It's a nice team, and
It's a nice mix, isn't it?
yeah, and everyone's really supportive of each other. And I think we have some really amazing students
Yeah.
who work together. And I think you said you've got a group Snapchat, and they're always helping each other. So it's lovely. I think
It
it's
is
a
nice.
really good sense of community and support and things like that. That's just my opinion. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Just making you
Fantastic.
see it.
Thanks very much for joining us. That was excellent. Thank you.
Lovely.
I really enjoy the fact that teachers are approachable. You can talk to them.
The staff were very welcoming when I first came for my open evening and the induction last year.
Because of my secondary school, I'd taken master classes here, and through the weeks that I'd come here to do master classes, I thought it was a good place, a good atmosphere, and it's like generally a good place to learn.
It's really relaxed, but as soon as you need any support, somebody's always there.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about some of the creative subjects. I'm joined by Paul Keeling, who teaches photography at the college. I've got Az, who teaches film studies, as well as some other stuff, right? Az, criminology, media studies. Morgan's stayed with us. You don't teach anything at the college, not yet. So what subjects do you do?
I do media, geography and sociology.
Okay, so maybe we can ask you a little bit about media. And then Dr. Neil Halliday,
How do you do?
now, who's teaching, well,
Literature, combined English language, literature, sociology and criminology.
I'm going to ask first of all about your PhD that
Yes.
you've recently acquired.
Absolutely, this year.
Yeah. Can you explain a little bit about what you've been doing, what your PhD is?
Well, it was a part-time PhD I did at the University of Birmingham. It was a 6-year process, and it was essentially looking at literature, romantic literature, 1820s literature.
And I actually saw you teaching sociology the other day.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Are you enjoying the sociology?
Absolutely, I think it's wonderful. It's a lot of crossover between English language, particularly, and sociology. Things like representation, gender, language power, these sorts of things.
I popped in for about 2 minutes and I saw you talk about communism, Mary Antoinette. And Paul, come to you next. You're a teacher photography.
Yeah.
So that's just, we're talking, you just need a phone for this? Do you just go?
It's an art spec, so you could go for kind of traditional kind of technical route and look at lenses and all that kind of stuff, but then you'd be asleep. So the art spec is very open to creativity, taking ideas, kind of developing. So there is some academic rigour in research. And
So what sort of students are you after? When someone applies to do photography, what are you looking at? What kind of...
Somebody's interested in kind of the bigger picture. So some of our most successful students from last year are the ones that are doing kind of psychology, sociology, English and media. So they've got kind of a bigger look at the world. I think the most successful project last year, a student was doing psychology and English as well.
And as we interviewed you the other day for something else, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we gave you the Jackie Chan, because everyone knows you're the Jackie Chan expert.
Yeah.
And you got 100% on it.
I did.
Yeah. Because you're a film studies teacher.
Film studies and media.
Again, not maybe a subject maybe people are familiar with from school. So what's film studies and what sort of students are you looking for? Why would someone come to do film studies?
It's similar to Paul, really. You need to have, need to know about, be interested in the world and have all sorts of life. But mainly we're looking for students who are creative, students who like to have a debate, because we look at different texts, different forms of media, whether it's magazines, television, radio, you name it. But then we're looking at the backgrounds of any of those texts that exist, from yesteryear up to now, contemporary. And you're looking at the historical, social, political backgrounds of it. You take those different forms of media, some of them you'll really enjoy, if you're really into your magazines and television shows. Some of them might be new to you, like looking at film in the industry. And then for both film and media, you take that, you choose one of those forms of media or film and create your own little practical project.
So you are having remote lessons at the moment.
Yeah.
How is that going?
It's interesting. It's very different from being in a classroom setting, especially for something like media. We're lucky that we have the 2 hours with Rob, where we're doing the practical side, because I'm useless at Photoshop. Put it in front of me, no clue. But it's nice to be able to do the practical stuff in lessons, but because media is what media is, doing it online, it's not as difficult as you think it would be, because we are still able to interact and talk. It's a little bit awkward with the silences and stuff, but you can't really get around
It's different,
that.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much for joining. It's been very informative.